Hey everyone, my name is TR. I'm a certified personal trainer and a certified nutrition coach, and I specialize in working with active older adults that are 55 or older, of which I happen to be one. I'm 62 years old. I'm not really sure how that happened, but I've basically over the last 5 years or so really honed in my focus and my concentration onto working with a community of people that are, again, active and older adults, but they're not 25 years old anymore. And the training and the nutrition and the things that are involved in staying healthy and stay fit change as you age and grow a little bit older. So what I'm really trying to do here is empower people. I want to be able to reach a demographic out there that feels hopeless, that feels like they've been left behind, and try to make them understand that it's not too late. You can get empowered, you can feel like you get up in the morning and say, let's go. Not just that you're enduring and you're just struggling through another day, but that you're living your life. You're playing with your grandkids, you're going to pickleball, you're getting on the golf course. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, there's no reason to decide that you can't have that anymore. And I think that everything begins with a foundational nutrient, which is protein. If you don't have that, all the rest of it is going to go by the wayside. So my goal in all of this is just to try to make you understand just how important that is and the best way to get it into your system. And if you're over the age of 50 and you're eating the same amount of protein that you did when you were 30, you're not eating enough. You're not getting enough protein into your body. It's as simple as that. And you're likely losing strength, muscle, and endurance a little bit more every single year. We lose about 6 to 8% of our muscle mass per decade as we age. And when we get to 60, that speeds up even more. It's called sarcopenia, and at the end of the day, it is the thing that'll cause you to lose your independence and find yourself somewhere you don't want to be. Okay, so it's like a cascading effect, right? Let's connect the dots. If you have less protein, it causes you to have a slower metabolism. You start to get weaker. Bones, muscle, slower healing, all of it just sort of trickles down into a worse and worse scenario for yourself. The great news is, none of that is inevitable. You can find a way to replace, replenish, repair, and get stronger and better as you move down the line. I promise you, it's something you can do. I've seen it 100 times in the gym with all of the clients that I work with. Start putting them on a regimen of protein, a certain amount in a certain time of day, and as you move along in the process, you will get stronger, more upbeat, happier, and it will start to feed itself in a positive loop. So that is my goal. That's what protein can do for you. And at the end of it all, that's what I'm trying to instill on you guys. So the reason that I say that protein is non-negotiable, that it's not optional, is that as we get older, we use protein less effectively and less efficiently as we move along, and therefore we need more of it. And the trap that people fall into is that they undereat because they've just got this thing in their head where they just need to watch their calories if they're trying to lose weight, if they're trying to get more fit, have less bad things in their body. Understood. But at the end of it all, overeating is not the problem. Undereating is. It's not getting enough protein into your body. If I put somebody on a regime where they're having a protein shake in the morning and a protein shake at night, and I'm going to get into which protein and how I think that's most effectively done, but when they find themselves upping and increasing that protein rate, they lose weight. They start to feel better. The brain fog is gone. I wrote a list of things that protein does. Okay, forgive me, but I wrote it down. It fights sarcopenia and osteoporosis, two things that are absolutely devastating to an adult as they get older. It regulates the blood sugar. It supports immunity, okay? Healing. It reduces inflammation. It repairs your joints and your ligaments. It increases your mood and your focus. There are things called dopamine and serotonin within your body that are elevated by the presence of protein. That gives you a stimulus for being in a better space, being in a better mood, and wanting more for yourself. And the last one is, it builds new muscle. Even if you're 60, 70, 80, 90, if you get protein in you and you're working out in any form or fashion, you don't have to be bench pressing 550. You just need to be physically active. It makes all the difference in the world. You need the protein though. Otherwise, it's kind of like washing your car in the rain. I mean, great, you wash the car, but nobody's ever going to know, right? You need to have some sort of a system in place where you are improving and you're physically challenging yourself and then you are physically feeding yourself. Those two work in tandem together. You can go to the gym all day long, but what is in your refrigerator? What are you doing when you come home? Those two need to mesh. They need to find some common ground. And if you can do that, you're golden. So when I talk about fitness and protein, I'm not talking about being a bodybuilder, about having six-pack abs and being able to bench press some world record. I'm talking about functional fitness. I'm talking about being able to get off the ground after you've played with your grandkids, opening a jar, getting in an airplane and being able to put your luggage in the overhead compartment, being able to climb up a set of stairs without losing your breath. You know, these are the things that are important in a real life, real time situation. You know, when you fall down when you're 25 or 30 years old, you're embarrassed. When you fall down when you're 75 or 80, it could be life threatening. So these are things we need to make sure we have on the front burner and we're figuring out how to cope with. Usually in the gym, after I've worked with a client for a little while and I've preached about protein till they're like, okay, I surrender. They're basically, the comment I most often hear is, I get it, but I cannot choke down chicken and eggs and tuna and all of this stuff and get enough protein in the course of a day. And I get it. They'll say, you know, I don't like those thick, heavy, sit in your stomach kind of whey protein drinks. I don't either. And so what I found recently, and I don't want to turn this into sounding like a commercial, I'm not paid by these people. I don't get, you know, things sent to me to kind of sponsor them. I'm just telling you, there's a new product. It's called Clear Whey Protein, and it's drinks much more like a sports drink than that heavy, sitting in your stomach, thick shake that makes you just want to take a nap. And I have found one, it's called My Clear Protein. I've tried a bunch of them, I gotta say straight up. And at the end of it all, this is the one that has great flavors, it's refreshing, you put in some ice and you do a shaker, you don't have to put it in a blender and kind of go crazy with it and make a mess. So it's something that I find has been a great tool to be added to my toolbox, so that if I'm down 40 grams of protein or so in the course of the day and I'm trying to get to my goal of amount of protein, which I'm also going to get into, then this is a way to supplement. It's not an excuse or an example of how to cheat the system. You still need whole foods. You need eggs and cottage cheese and chicken and all of the different healthy foods that come along the way. But at the end of it, if you're still a little short on getting enough protein to rebuild your muscle and to get yourself in a good space, this is a good way to do it. Clear Protein. So for the longest time, protein shakes have remained unchanged, okay? They're heavy powder, you mix it with water or milk, you add a banana and some peanut butter and stuff, and you try to up that protein count as high as you can. And you get it into your system within 45 minutes or so after a workout, when that metabolic window is craving and desiring a shot of protein. The new thing on the market is, and honestly, I still use this in the morning to break my fast. I will have a nice heavy shake. It just makes me feel satiated and it slows my metabolism down, my catabolism of my body, and it gets me back to a restorative space. So I still do use this every morning, but the remainder of the day, I go with Clear Whey Protein Isolate. And the reason is, it tastes refreshing, it doesn't fill you up, you don't feel like you need to take a nap after you've finished it. You can just kind of throw it back, and it just has that quality to it that is more of a Gatorade, more of like a sports drink with benefits kind of feel to it. And I've found it to be a real game changer for me personally. My wife is in the hospital. She does 2 scoops in the morning in a fairly good sized thermos, and she just sips it throughout the day in between patients' rooms, and it allows her an opportunity to get 30 or 40 or 50, depending on how much she puts in there, grams of protein during the course of the day, and it meets her protein needs. So this one is called My Protein. I'm not sponsored by them. They're not paying me for this. I purchased all of these myself, and my wife and I have purchased numerous other brands and stuff, trying to find the one that really tastes the best for us. This has no aftertaste. It's dragon fruit, and there's fruit punch and mango and so forth. And I personally just crave it. It's delicious. So this is what I would use. I put a description in the link below for both Amazon if that's where you're more comfortable, or I'm going to have a coupon code and you can go directly to the website if you want to pick that up. Your choice completely. If you want to go do your due diligence and find a different brand, great, that's perfect, as long as you're getting some clear whey protein in there. I think that the thing that scares most people about this stuff is beaten out by this brand. Like, you don't have to sweat the fact that you just can't chug that down and choke it down. It's chalky and it's nasty. This isn't. So I would definitely say it's worth the investment to just give it a try, see how it feels for you, and it might be the one thing that helps you get that 40 grams of protein or so that gets you up over the metabolic needs that you have for the day. So on the topic of how much protein do you need, the rule of thumb is that you should try to get 1 gram of protein for every pound of body weight that you have. So if you're a 130-pound woman, you want to try to make sure you get close to, it doesn't have to be rocket science, but close to 130 grams of protein. So if you're taking this whey protein mix twice a day, you're knocking out 40 right off the bat. That leaves you with 90 calories that you have to get some other way. So you can do a morning-ish and an afternoon protein shake, and then set yourself up in the middle of the day for 2 or 3 smaller meals, and boom, you've hit your protein needs right off the bat. So here's a quick hack for counting calories versus protein and figuring out if it's a good product for you or not. If you take the calorie count and then you look at the protein count, so say the protein is 20 grams. If you add a 0 to that, okay, that makes it 200. If your protein count is higher than the calorie count, you have a really good source of protein. I'm going to show you a couple examples. All right, so I'm rating the refrigerator and the cabinet real quick, and I just want to be able to kind of illustrate this for you. So this is called Power Cakes. It's called protein packed. It's got 15 grams in it. You know, a good amount of protein in a serving. But at the end of the day, when you look at the side of this, if you take 15 grams and you put a 0 at the end, you've got 150. Well, 150 is lower than 220. So really, this is not a great source of protein. It's not a great ratio of balance. Not so good. Take Greek yogurt, okay? 17. If you add a 0 to the end of that, that's 170. Well, this is 100. That's a seriously good source of protein. It's a really good balance of protein to calorie ratio. Speaking of ratios, here's ratio protein. What is this? Yeah, this is a yogurt, right? So you've got, where am I? 25 grams of protein. So you add a 0, you get 250. Well, the calories are 170. Really good source of protein right here. Cottage cheese, again, notoriously good. You got 11 grams, so add a 0, that's 110. Overall calories are 100. Once again, proteins overpower the calorie count. Very good source. Here, you're just shopping and you're not paying attention to your, your labels, and you can pick up arbitrarily one or the other of these. They're both protein chips. One is from Wild, one is from Quest. The Wild one has 14 grams of protein. Add a 0 to the end, that's 140. Calories are 200. Not great. There's more calories in here than there is protein. You go to this one, which is Quest, and you've got 19 grams, so that turns into 190. Calorie count's 140. Once again, a much better source of protein. So reading the labels and just trying to get figured out what you're looking at, this is a quick hack to just walk through really quickly. And if something falls on the wrong side of that ratio, suggestion would be keep looking, find something better, especially when it comes to processed stuff like this. You're also going to be wanting to look at the oils and the preservatives and the sugars and just try to see if there's dyes and different things in here that just really turn it into a not a great choice. Again, I think the dairy, whether it's yogurt or it's protein packed in cottage cheese, always going to be a better source than just this kind of manufactured stuff. But I'm going to go over that in another video. Just wanted to kind of quickly show you a couple examples from my cupboard in my refrigerator. All right, guys, so in closing, again, this is my first video, my first attempt at doing this, And I don't want this channel to just be about showing you how to work out or what the best nutrition is. Yes, that stuff's important, but that's not the only thing I'm here for. I'm here because I refuse to sit here and watch the people that I work with and that I see every day decide that it's just inevitable to kind of fall apart and start to fail. That does not have to be the case. A lot of these people, when I'm talking to them, they kind of see themselves as a pill organizer box in one hand and a bedpan in the other hand. And that does not have to be the case. That is not an inevitable thing that you just have to accept. And I'm going to do my very best to be that person in this spot that encourages and motivates and educates together. We can all do this together. We can all work our way into a better space. I really believe that you can get up in the morning and figure out where your grandchildren are, what games they're playing, and know that if you're going to go to Europe or you're going to, whatever it is in your life that you're passionate about, you have the energy and the strength, the wherewithal, and the desire to go do it, right? We don't have a healthcare system in this country. We have a sick care system. They wait till you're sick. They throw medications and surgeries at you. But the reality is you have a lot more control over your health and your well-being than you're led to believe. And at the end of all of this, I'm going to stay on this channel. I'm going to come back every single week, find content that is specific for us. Hey, I'm in my 60s too, right? There's an old man coming for me too, but he's not here yet. So for the time being, while I have the wherewithal and I have the energy and I have the motivation, I want to be here every week with you guys, come up with some new content, keep things challenging and interesting. Comment below, guys. You can DM me. You can do whatever you want. If there's a certain topic or supplement or workout or something that you have an interest in that you want to hear a little bit more about, I'll do the research. I'll take the time. I'll come back to you with the content and we can talk about it together. I want this to be a community where people can just go down into the comments and feel like they're finding people that are in the same boat as they are. And all of us together, we deserve to be able to live our lives strong and healthy as well. So I'm out for now, but I will be back next week. Peace.